Right now, the market feels heavy, not chaotic, heavy. Bitcoin isn't reacting to intraday noise anymore. It's sitting at a weekly decision zone. Now, price is hovering just above the first bearish target on the higher time frame, right around the $89,000 level. This isn't a place to guess. This is where weekly structure decides whether the trend holds or whether the market needs more downside first. Now, I'm not chasing anything here. I'm watching how the price behaves as usual at a level that actually matters. This is Bitcoin on point, where we let the market show its hand. And on the Bitcoin weekly chart, price is currently sitting just above the first bearish target inside our long-term trend channel. That level is around $89,000. So if price starts rejecting from here, the next downside targets are pretty clear. The first one sits at 77K. And if pressure continues, even the $55,000 to $50,000 region comes into play. It doesn't mean it has to happen, but this is the range we're working inside. Bitcoin is essentially deciding whether it can hold the upper half of this channel or whether it needs to explore lower support again. And at the same time, Ethereum is sitting at a demand zone where a very clean trade idea could form. Nothing is confirmed yet, but this is exactly the kind of moment where you slow down and let the structure do the talking. In this video, we'll break down the weekly Bitcoin decision zone, what happens if price holds versus rejecting, and the Ethereum daily trade idea that I'm watching closely, including how I would execute it on the 4-hour time frame. Now, I'll also walk you through how I'm handling all of this inside my $10,000 to $100,000 trading challenge. So stay with me, make sure you're subscribed if you want that higher time frame clarity, not reactions. Now, a quick context before we go deeper. I'm running a public $10,000 to $100,000 trading challenge. I don't force entries. I let the price come to me. YouTube is the daily narrative, and Telegram is where I share all of my live updates, executions, and adjustments in real time. The links are in the description. Now, before we go further, hit that like button. Let's target 20 likes and subscribe. It helps more than you think, and it tells me you want more of these real-time market breakdowns. Now, a quick macro context, because this matters. Research is showing that a large part of the recent all-time high activity on Ethereum was driven by address poisoning, not organic usage. Now, this is important because it tells us that whilst activity looks high on the surface, there are still fundamental issues underneath the hood that Ethereum needs to address before scaling narratives actually matter. At the same time, the Bank of America is now projecting gold at $6,000 per ounce by spring 2026. This isn't a risk-on call. This is a hard asset confidence signal. So whilst crypto is volatile short-term, capital is still positioning around scarcity and long-term value. We've seen this kind of environment before. Now, diving into the charts, let's start with the Bitcoin daily. If you look back historically, every time Bitcoin printed 3 taps near the top, price reacted lower, often forming something similar to a head and shoulder style structure. But what actually came after that wasn't the end. It was a reset. And then on the 5th step, price moved higher. Right now, we're sitting at that 5th step again. This is why this level is very important. The one thing I do not want to see is a daily close below $84,000. A wick below for liquidity? Sure, that's fine, but a clean close below $84,000 would change the entire picture here. So as long as this level holds, the higher time frame structure remains constructive. Nothing is confirmed, but this is where the markets have turned before. That's all we're stating here. Now, zooming into Bitcoin on the 4-hour, price is currently sustaining at a key level. Liquidity has already been taken from both sides, and we've dipped into the lower liquidity zone. We've swept the highs of the key zone, and right now, price is compressing almost like an ascending triangle. And with the weekend already here, volatility is likely to stay muted. Typical weekends. Now, what I want to see personally is strength, a clean 4-hour close above $92,000. If that happens, then a move towards the order block above becomes reasonable. If not, I wait. This is still a decision zone. Now, on the Bitcoin 2-hour time frame, this is where things get way more precise. That $90,000 level has reacted almost perfectly. Price failed to close above it, and that's important because if Bitcoin had accepted above this level, we would have seen clear bullish intent. But instead, we've seen 2 clean rejections. At the same time, there is trendline support underneath the price, though. So right now, we're boxed between resistance above and support below. And here's how I'm reading the situation. A close below 87.5k would weaken the structure and lean bearish short term. A clean close above 91.5k would flip this back into bullish mode. Until then, this is chop, compression, and just simply positioning. There isn't any rush. Now, a quick update on our trading challenge. We've taken 2 trades so far, one on TON, one on Bitcoin, and both were winners. The account is currently up 2.86%. That's roughly $286 in profit. No overtrading, no emotional decisions. I execute trades on the week's exchange, and I track everything transparently using Profits Precision. All trade updates, entries, and exits are shared live in my Telegram, and the links are in the description. Now, shifting over to Ethereum. This is where the main trade idea lives in the content. On the daily time frame, ETH has broken below its trend line and is now sustaining between 2.8 and 2.9k. This zone is major because if you look to the left, you'll see that every single time ETH has dipped into this area, price has stabilized and then slowly worked higher. Not explosively, but methodically, right? What I want to see here is respect, and ideally, price reclaiming the trend line, closing above it, and showing acceptance. If this happens, it becomes a high quality long idea from a higher time frame perspective. But again, the daily gives us the data and execution comes later. Now, the Ethereum 4-hour chart is where execution logic is coming in. There are 2 scenarios here, and I'm open to them both. The bullish scenario, if ETH starts printing strong bullish candles and breaks its structure and accepts above $3,050, then I know that the buyers are active. And from there, I would wait for a retracement back into the zone and look for the long execution. The bearish scenario, if ETH fails and breaks down and closes below 2.8k, means I would wait for a retracement back into the green zone and look for shorts. So I'm not guessing any sense of direction. I'm just simply waiting to react on confirmation. You know, the price decides and I initially execute here. So stepping back, Bitcoin is inside a repeating higher time frame pattern with clear invalidation below 84k. Ethereum is at a major demand zone with a clean daily idea and a clear execution plan. Macro pressure is real, volatility is compressed, and this is exactly where patience pays. I'm watching, I'm waiting, and I'll only act when price confirms. If you want to see this in real time, Weeks is for the execution, Profits Precision is for the tracking, and the free Telegram is for live updates. All links are in the descriptions. Now let's let the market come to us. Until next time, all of the best.